When they entered World War I, the British soldiers had expected to defeat the Germans swiftly and be home in time for Christmas. However, nearly 5 months and 1 million lives later, the war seemed far from over. Far from home on Christmas Eve, British and German soldiers were knee-deep in the mud on the front lines of northern France. Massive downpours of freezing rain finally came to an end and revealed an eerily quiet moonlit night. Enemy trenches were separated by less than 100 yards of frozen-soaked battleground covered in a maze of barbed wire. Lieutenant Charles Brewer of the British 2nd Battalion suddenly noticed a bright light on the German side of the battlefield. Curious but also cautious, he warily raised his head over the sandbags atop the British trenches, peered through the maze of barbed wire, and saw a sparkling Christmas tree on the other side. As he continued looking down the line of the German trenches, he saw another and yet another, until he could see an entire line of Christmas trees. It was then that on this still moonlit night, he began to hear a faint, somewhat familiar sound. The German soldiers were singing the words "Stille Nacht" to the tune "Silent Night." Upon hearing the end of the German rendition of the beloved Christmas carol, the British soldiers cheered and responded with the English version of the carol. This alone was a remarkable event for two enemies who had been fighting relentlessly since August. Still better, when dawn broke on Christmas morning, the miracle did not stop there. Sporadically, some soldiers from both sides of the 500-mile Western Front began to climb out of their mud-soaked foxholes. They crossed the fields through the mazes of barbed wire and began to wish their adversaries a Merry Christmas. They began talking with one another, exchanging small gifts such as chocolates and sausages, and even played pickup games of soccer with tin cans and small sandbags. As the sun began to set on this special Christmas day, the soldiers returned to their foxholes. This impromptu ceasefire became known as the Christmas Truce. Along some of the war fronts, ceasefires ended promptly on December 26th at 8:30 a.m., but some continued until New Year's Day. The Battle of World War I raged on for 4 more years until the signing of the armistice on November 11, 1918. Yet on that silent Christmas Eve night, the Christmas truce provided an unforgettable memory of the flicker of peace and life. 200 years ago, Still Nacht was written by Franz Xavier Gruber and Joseph Ford wrote the words. This happened in Salzburg, Austria. To commemorate the 200th anniversary of this song, Austria declared it to be an intangible cultural heritage and even made a postage stamp. This Stille Nacht is our Christmas night. You listen, you can hear the angst of looming war beneath the bell.
Okay.